In 2026, the extraterrestrials that are currently surrounding planet Earth have in their possession a devastating secret that can completely cripple and destroy the power of the elites, and they are poised to give this knowledge and information directly to the average human. We are in a position where we can completely cripple, destroy, and eliminate the elites that are currently controlling this third dimensional matrix, and we can take it over and make it into whatever we want. In this video, I'm going to be sharing with you what extraterrestrials have revealed to me and what my experience has shown me, and I'm going to tell you exactly what this secret is and how you can get your hands on it. Let's go ahead and get started. So this 13,000-year-old secret gives anyone unlimited power in the astral realm. This is important to understand. We're going to get into this a little bit later, but the third dimensional matrix is a simulation. It's a video game. So wanting to have power in the third dimensional video game is like if you're walking around in your normal 3D world and you have complete control over World of Warcraft, but when you click the game off, you have no control in your real life. That's what's going on with the elites. They're trying to get complete control over the video game, and they're completely misunderstanding where true power lies. So, the elites once had this power, but it was taken from them during the Atlantis disaster 13,000 years ago. And this is well documented. 13,000 years ago, there was the Younger Dryas flood event. The flood event turns out to be a real thing. This is now all coming to light. You can see this. You can go and look at the pyramids, and you can see that the Sphinx is much older than 4,000 years and has survived floods. And there's all kinds of other evidence. You can go out there and look at it. I'm not an expert in that field, but this much I know. 13,000 years ago, this knowledge of how to have unlimited power was taken away from the elites. That's part of what was going on and part of what the flood disaster was. So extraterrestrial civilizations, however, have held on to this secret, and they have been waiting for the current solar event that we are going through right now in order to reveal it, and they are revealing it. So this goes by all kinds of names. People are calling it the solar flash event, the 5D shift, the 3D, 5D Earth split. The reality is, again, scientifically, we are going through a huge solar event. The energy of the sun has been very strong this year. It's been much stronger than was predicted. And we have other evidence, like we have the elites have programs to block out the sun. They wouldn't be doing that if the sun wasn't a threat to them. They know this is coming. So ET civilizations have held this secret for 13,000 years, waiting for this current time in order to reveal how to have unlimited power. The elites' UFO retrieval program, quote unquote, is a failed attempt to recover this knowledge. So, what you might not have heard is that the current war between the human elite military and the ETs has been going on for 13,000 years. 13,000 years ago, according to ETs and humans were friendly and interacted. In fact, they teamed up to do things like build the pyramids and other very powerful spiritual, technological things on this planet. And so this knowledge was well known among humans. It was no secret. But what happened during the flood event is spiritually and physically the elites were disconnected from higher frequency knowledge, and they lost all of the knowledge, and they distorted it, they forgot it, and they have been trying for 13,000 years to recover it. And that's what the UFO retrieval program is. Now human beings have technology almost on a par. You've never seen this as you drive your gasoline-powered car. But there is technology that is almost on a par with extraterrestrials. If you were to see both technologies working, you wouldn't be able to tell the difference, which is why the majority of UFOs are human-created, not extraterrestrial. And so they are now trying to get that knowledge back, and they think by shooting down ETs and taking the ships and imprisoning and torturing and experimenting on the ETs that they're somehow going to get the knowledge back. But that's because they just don't understand. So the UFO retrieval program is actually a UFO shoot them down and then retrieve them and reverse engineer them program. Let's keep going. So the Matrix mind control psyop is the elite's distorted misunderstanding of this secret. So I'm calling it the Matrix mind control psyop, but it's been going on for 13,000 years, and it's been getting more and more powerful and more sophisticated and more widespread. And it started with religion, and then it turned into, there's a reason why all of a sudden, out of nowhere, 10,000 years ago, the Sumerian civilization erupts out of nowhere. And we go, 10 minutes before they were hunter-gatherer cavemen, and then all of a sudden they figured out how to use the wheel and how to farm and how to build massive cities and do all kinds of other things. No, this knowledge was already there. They were just picking themselves up and dusting themselves off and toweling themselves off from the flood event. And so, one of the things I want to challenge people on, people think that because we've been told that the Sumerian tablets are the oldest in the world, that therefore they must be telling you the truth. Again, it's books written by humans. Human beings lie, especially when they have empires to control. The Sumerian tablets were written by priests of the emperors of those cities, and so it has propaganda in there, just like it's no difference. Those tablets are no different than turning on MSNBC. That was the MSNBC of that day. It was propaganda. So if you think you're going to get your understanding about truth, spiritual or otherwise, from Sumerian tablets, might as well just turn on CNN and just believe everything you're told. Seriously, wake up. It's incredibly childish to simply believe, well, this is a really old tablet, so it must be true. But, it's going to come out. But there is written information that is far older than the Sumerian tablets, and those things are going to be unearthed and discovered very soon. And people are going to find out, either they're going to find out what I'm saying is the truth, or, we're going to find out that I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. But in any case, we seem to be going in that direction. I just interviewed a guy who's unearthing artifacts from Mexico that go back, according to him, the scientific tests come back 20,000 years. And they all talk about this same Atlantean worldwide world civilization. All right, let's keep going. So the Matrix mind control psyop is the elite's distorted misunderstanding of the secret. Transhumanism, AI, and 3D matrix programming are all designed to create 3D control over world population. Again, they're trying to get back to this knowledge of infinite power, and they're doing it with what their distorted third-dimensional understanding has. And so that's what all these things are. They're trying to mimic. It's interesting, I myself have extensive experience interacting and communicating with higher dimensional extraterrestrials. A lot of it telepathically. So I know how higher dimensional beings communicate telepathically. When I hear people who have been abducted, which again is human elite psyop, fake alien, that's very real. People do get abducted, they get tortured, they get experimented on, and they walk around and they see these grays and other beings, and they think that they're being abducted by aliens, when in reality it's humans using very advanced technology that's on the level of extraterrestrials, so they wouldn't know the difference. But when the stories come back about how those ETs, those aliens, those grays, communicate telepathically, it's very different. So again, I'm here to tell you, anybody who says that they've communicated with extraterrestrials and they say that they can hear the specific voice of the ET in their mind, like another person's voice in their mind, that's human technology. ETs don't do that. If you want to learn more, you can ask me. I can tell you how. You'll find out, because I can teach you exactly how to communicate with them. I'm not a prophet. Everything I say you can experience. And those of you who are, bad-mouthing me and saying that I'm deluded, I understand that you haven't hurt my feelings. I would have said the same thing. Go and prove me wrong, because that's what I did. In 2022, I saw Dr. Stephen Greer's movie, Close Encounters of the Fifth Kind, where people claimed to see and communicate with extraterrestrials, and I said, BS. I'm going to prove you wrong, because he was saying, here's how you do it. And he taught and teaches people how to do human-initiated contact. So I said, I'm going to do it. I'm going to prove you wrong. I'm going to do it. And boy, was I absolutely, I ate serious crow. He was absolutely right. So you want to prove me wrong? Go ahead and communicate with them yourself, and then come back and tell me what happens. If you have an experience, I guarantee you it's going to be so bizarre, and it's going to be along the line. And the thing is, I don't need for people to agree with me. I don't need to be right. And I tell people, and I teach people how to do this, and they come back and they say the same kinds of things. So all the stuff that I'm sharing that sounds so bizarre and totally crazy, that's from going very, very deep in my communications with ETs. The deeper you go in your communications with them, the crazier it'll get. And it'll be on this level that you can't comprehend, and it'll be so offensive to your third dimensional 3D mind, which is all that's happening. People that say that I'm deluded and call me names, what's happening is that their third dimensional matrix is really getting threatened, and they're fighting back. So they attack me. That's okay. I understand. I would have done the same thing. So the elites use these methods to mimic the power of the original knowledge. Again, it's distorted. The elites wrongly believe ultimate power lies in controlling the third dimensional matrix. And this is why they're so desperate. Actually, the truth is, internally, they know they don't have any power. These are narcissists. Narcissists know that they don't have any power. Narcissists know that they're liars. And they know that they are frauds. And they know that if you find out what's really going on inside of them, you'll see them for who they are, and they are deathly afraid of being seen for who they are. And so they know that something is wrong. They know they don't have the true power. This is why, whenever, some group of people comes along that has power, they find a way to take them and experiment on them. Psychics, people with psychic abilities, and ETs. This is why they are shooting down ETs, and they're taking ETs hostage and experimenting on them, and doing all kinds of horrible things to them, keeping them captive, because they think they can squeeze the knowledge, the secret out of them. And the truth is, even if you gave them the secret, which I'm going to give you, even if you gave it to them, they wouldn't understand it. They wouldn't know what to do with it. And if they experienced it, it would scare them so badly they would run in the other direction. So the elites wrongly believe that ultimate power lies in controlling the 3D matrix. However, true power lies in the astral realm, outside of the third dimension, not inside the 3D matrix simulation. So I know that the word astral realm is going to push people's buttons, and there are people out there, David Icke and others, telling you that the astral realm is some evil realm. The fourth dimension, evil beings come from the fourth. It's a complete misunderstanding. I'm not going to take the time to refute it. Just to let you know that we live in a matrix. We live in a third dimensional simulation that we created, by the way. Nobody created it and threw us in there. We created it and decided to play the game, and we've gotten lost in the game. If you're in pain and misery, you've gotten lost in the game, and the elites have capitalized on that. So all of the elite PSYOP programming is about capitalizing on your misunderstanding that you are this avatar, instead of remembering that you actually are playing. You've got a virtual reality headset on in a higher dimension. Because once you figure that part out and you see who you really are, there's nothing they can ever do or say that will ever control you. What they want is to program you so that you will enslave yourself for them. And all of, everything, like and everything else, religion, propaganda, media, banks, etc., all of that is designed so that you will voluntarily enslave yourself in their control system. And so that's why they're flipping out, because all of their lies are coming out. Everything is coming out. And it's actually beyond belief, the amount of information and to the extent of the lies and the manipulation. It's mind-boggling, even to people like me who already know and are expecting it. Every time I hear more about what's going on, it just blows my mind. Anyway, so the true power lies in the astral realm, outside of 3D, not inside the 3D matrix simulation. ETs know this. Extraterrestrials know this because they are in higher dimensions. So again, what you haven't been told, I found this out through my experience, is that Earth is an isolated third dimension experiment. It is cut off from the rest of the multiverse. The frequency of the third dimension creates a barrier. So we can't get out unless we do certain types of meditative and energy practices. Otherwise, if we're just in our normal awake 3D mind, we are trapped inside of it. Even if you use the most powerful telescopes, you won't be able to see outside of the Earth third dimensional frequency. But every other conscious being, and I am dead serious, right now at this moment, there are an infinite number of beings that have direct access to me. And they can see me and they can feel me, but I can't see or feel them in my third dimensional mind. The same is true for you. The same is true for the elites. The same is true for everybody. So having power inside of the third dimensional video game, like I said, is like, having complete control over World of Warcraft. But when you put the controller down and you're fat and covered in pimples and you don't have any money and you're a complete loser, I mean, you can't do anything in the real world. And that's what the elites are doing. They've learned how to get some level of control over the video game, but they have zero connection outside because they've forgotten. And the truth is, they're scared to death. That's why they do create technologies to pull strange monsters from the second dimension and things like that, because they're incapable of going beyond it themselves. And the truth is that everybody has the ability. Why are they incapable? Because they're narcissists. And narcissists are continuously recreating their negative frequency. And they're trying to pull you into it. The reason why, you think about it, the reason why the elites want every single solitary person on planet Earth inside their matrix is because they think that if they can just get one person in and feed off of them, they'll be okay. And of course they do, and it doesn't fill the black hole inside of them. So again, this is what we're seeing right now is we're seeing narcissists, psychopaths, extremely damaged human beings destroy themselves. And so this is why the elites are sharing this secret with you, which I already shared with you. So true power lies in the astral realm outside of the third dimension, not inside the 3D matrix simulation. You in this 3D matrix simulation, for instance, my name is Michael Denney. I have a YouTube channel. I'm 62 years old. I grew up in Southern California. I'm a surfer. I was an actor, way back when. I used to be born-again Christian when I was a little kid. That's my identity. That's my third dimensional matrix avatar. That's not who I am. So what has happened as a result of direct contact with higher dimensions and with higher dimensional ETs is that I have become aware of who I am out there. Now, I have to mention this because some people, again, they're getting their buttons pushed because of the things that I said in my recent video. But bear in mind the very, very outlandishly grandiose things that I am saying about myself in higher dimensions and past lives. I also say, and this is the part they don't hear, that this is true for everybody. And if I'm supposedly the king of this earth, I know for a fact that you, if you're human, are probably king or queen of another planet or a solar system or a galaxy. It's very likely that you have more power than I do. And I say this from the beginning, but just because I talk about the power that I've been told that I have, people get all bent out of shape and want to call me all kinds of names. But you have more power than I do. I'm not sitting up here putting myself on the top of the pinnacle saying I'm the most powerful being in all of, everything. I'm saying you have that power. Go find out. You won't find out if you don't ask. So that's what we're going to find out next, is that the hidden secret that ETs are revealing to humans to defeat the elites is every human is a higher dimensional omnipotent God. That's why the religions, especially the monotheist religions, are part of the 13,000-year-old psyop. You notice that religions got worse and worse as time went on. That's because they were perfecting. That's why way back in 4000 BC or whenever the Sumerians were writing down in those tablets, they were writing down about Anunnakis. Now, they didn't write down what you say they wrote down. You have a misunderstanding if you think Anunnakis are space beings that came and spliced genes and turned humans into slaves. That's completely made up, mistranslated nonsense that was introduced in the 1970s. Look up Zecharia Sitchin. If you're attached to that idea, I would love to sit you down and explain to you that you're not a victim, and it's okay not to be a victim. However, let's keep going. But what they did talk about in those tablets is that they talked about that the gods, the Anunnaki means the gods, it doesn't mean people from other planets. The Anunnaki did take humans and turn them into slaves. That part is true. Why would that be in there? Because each of the city-state kings put themselves as the deity ruling that place. And what they wanted was for you to believe that you were a slave to the king of those cities. So again, people who want to say, yeah, the Sumerian tablet says this, so it's true. No, the Sumerian tablets are the propaganda of the rulers of that time, and they weren't doing as good a job as modern propagandists came up with monotheist religions, especially Christianity, the best elite 3D matrix psyop religion ever invented. That's why there hasn't been any after that, because that one broke the mold, and it still didn't work. But it said, it was very clear, you're nothing, God created you, you're separate from God, you are sinful, you're going to be thrown into hell, you need a savior, you need a communal, narcissist, codependent Savior who's going to take all of your sins away from you, and then out of guilt you're going to worship him, and then you're going to do whatever the hell God says. And then what does it say in the New Testament? Very clearly, Jesus says, pay your taxes. Don't believe me? It's in the Sermon on the Mount. No, sorry. No, something else. He says that it's not. I was wrong about that. It's not on Sermon on the Mount. But he did say that give unto God what is God's, give unto Caesar what is Caesar's. And that was in direct context with Jews that wouldn't pay their taxes to the Romans. So if you don't think that Christianity isn't a Roman propaganda religion designed to try and give the Jews their Messiah and get them to, he also told people not to be pacifists. So they wanted the Jews not to fight back and wanted them to pay their taxes. Jesus told them to do that. Paul tells people to do that. Says that the kings and the rulers are put there by God, obey them. It's so obvious. It's a psyop. And I'm sorry if you can't see that. If that offends you and you have to unsubscribe and go away, I don't blame you. I used to be a Christian myself. So every human, however, is a higher dimensional omnipotent God. And you won't know that until you actually connect with your higher dimensional self. ETs have the secret. They know exactly how to do that. Because again, Earth is its own isolated third dimensional experiment. I didn't read this in any book. I saw it. I went out in higher dimensions and I saw it and I experienced it. And I was shown how we, all of us, came together and decided to create this little experimental world, and that we knew that we would forget who we were so that we would learn how to go deep and connect to our souls. But that is over. The third dimensional matrix experiment is over. That's why anybody can get access to this power, because normally in times past, if you were to become aware that you were a higher dimensional God, you were out. You'd cease to exist. People who have near-death experiences don't find that. They come real close, and somebody will say, so you can either stay and go through that portal and go into even higher spiritual dimensions, or you have to go back. And the reason why is because if they went past that barrier that showed them that they were an omnipotent God that when higher dimensions created universes, they wouldn't be able to fit back in their third dimensional body and do, it would make it impossible. I can tell you that because that's what's happened to me. I've been past that portal, and it's been extremely, extremely challenging to come back into my body and do normal human stuff. Because you know that it's just a game. There's nothing in it. I don't care anymore. That's one of the problems. So this is the only thing I have left, is to share this with you. This is my job now, to give you this information. So how can you get access to your higher dimensional omnipotent God self? Very simple. Every elite psyop since Atlantis has been to program humans to believe they are created by higher forces. I already said this. This includes monotheist religions, Sumerian religions, Gnostic religions. Gnostic religions that say that that fake God, I forget the name they use for it, the demiurge created. You're right that there's a matrix created, but you're wrong that some false god called the demiurge wants to keep you trapped. And that is your own projection, and that is part of the psyop. The Gnostic religions were also created to keep you trapped. They appeal, they have half of the truth, which is that you are being controlled by archons, which means rulers. They're human rulers. You're told they're spiritual rulers. But the reason why they tell you it's spiritual rulers is because if you thought it was human rulers, you'd rebel against them. So they tell you it's spiritual rulers and you give up. You go, okay, don't go in the light. I don't want to be reincarnated. Woe is me. And the reality is that you created this, and you can leave. You can shift. You can take complete control of the game, but in order to do that, you have to shift beyond the elite psyop, which says that you're a created victim. And the Gnostic religions do that. Modern Anunnaki myths I already addressed. So here it is. Every human now has access to this infinite power. The only requirement is that you have to ask for it. Direct human initiated contact with extraterrestrials will grant anyone the knowledge of their unlimited power. This destroys the elites. Your knowledge, not just the intellectual knowledge, but your actual experiential knowledge, destroys their power. And that's why you are being fed another psyop, which is that there are whistleblowers, ex-military whistleblowers who are coming out trying to tell the truth about the UFO retrieval program, and we're getting blocked by the Pentagon, and they're giving you that nonsense because that makes you believe, oh yeah, tell us the truth. I'm with the ex-military guy, and it's all nonsense. It's to keep you trapped in the victim thing, thinking, the idea that somehow the government is going to give you some information that's going to what? Tell you what you already know? I mean, and even, the list, the so-called list, we already know what's on that list. This idea that the government has to reveal it to us is part of the psyop. So once you have experiential knowledge of your power, they won't be able to do anything. And when enough people get to that level, the whole thing's going to come crashing down. So I'm here to tell you that the true disclosure is the disclosure that you are a higher dimensional God. And once that comes out, and people resist that. Don't believe me? Look at some of the comments. People saying that I'm deluded, that I'm full of myself, and all kinds of. That's their projection. They can't tolerate the thought of them being an infinite God. They even say that. One guy even said, if ETs told me I was Jesus, I would keep it to myself. Why? Why would you do that? I don't understand that. And so this false humility is actually fear. Because once you see your true self, you start to die. You start to die to the third dimensional video game avatar. And it's a real death. It's the same death that Odin went through. It's the same death that all of the mythical gods who go to the underworld and resurrect. It's a real thing. And it has to do with not looking at your darkness and not doing what people say, I've done a lot of shadow work. That's meaningless. That's indulging in feeling like a victim. It does almost nothing. What does destroy that is when you actually see your God self, you accept it, you internalize it, and you expand into it. And then what do you care? What do I care what people think about me? Nobody's opinion is going to take away my experience. And since I don't need people's approval, and I mean that, I don't. Now, it isn't to say that I don't get my feelings hurt, and it isn't to say that I don't want people to like me. I do. It isn't to say I don't want people to respect me. I do. But I don't need it. I'm perfectly okay if nobody believes me, because I've experienced it. But instead of me putting myself up on some cult pedestal and telling you to listen to me and I'm the channel I'm saying, now you go do it. Prove me wrong. I dare you to prove me wrong. The only way that you can prove me wrong is through your own experience. And the only way that you can prove that my experience is wrong is if you've done exactly what I've done. And it's very simple. It's called human-initiated contact with extraterrestrials. It's also known as CE5, Close Encounters of the Fifth Kind. I do it. I'm going to do a meditation in an hour, interdimensional meditation. We do it on this channel twice a week, every Wednesday and Saturday evening. Right now we're doing it at 7:30 p.m. Pacific time. When I'm in different parts of the country, I do it at different times for my own convenience. So you can go to the live section of the YouTube channel and you can listen to any one of hundreds of them. If you want to go back to the simpler ones, go all the way back to 2023 when I was doing them. I was doing more of a CE5 kind of thing. Now things are getting pretty weird and complicated and powerful, and I don't care. But if you interact with a higher dimensional extraterrestrial being or a higher dimensional being of any kind, you will have an experience and you will know that I'm not lying. Now, I might not have interpreted the information correctly. That is something I sit with and I wonder about a lot. But in terms of the phenomenon is very real. Very real. And you will find that out. And when people experience this phenomenon, the elites are going to buckle. So the more people that do this, the faster the elites will buckle. And again, the secret is knowing that you have unlimited power in the astral realm. What does that mean? It means that while you're sitting here in the third dimension and you have to follow third dimensional game rules, you got to pay your taxes and do all the psyop, all that stupid garbage. Yeah, go ahead. You can play your third dimensional ET character and do that. And then in the astral realm, what we get to do is we get to go and send energy to this third dimensional matrix and change it. And that's a power the elites will never have. And you are far more powerful than they are in the astral realm, in your meditative mind. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and shut up. There's all kinds of stuff to look at. If you want to communicate directly with ETs, I'm happy to be the go-between. Go to channel.thunderwizard.com. If you want to learn how to do my methods, what I've learned about in-depth communication with ETs and how to navigate that, go to contact.thunderwizard.com. Maushan.thunderwizard.com gives you higher dimensional practices that I believe I've channeled and other people have channeled directly from interdimensional, higher dimensional beings. Thunderwizard.com is where you can go and become a member. You can work with me directly, become an apprentice. There's all kinds of videos and courses there. For those of you who had problems with the Patreon streaming videos, I believe that has been solved. I've gone and checked it out and it looks like it got fixed. So I'm happy to say that that's up and working again. All of these resources are here for you. If you have a question, go ahead and put it in the comments section. If you have a question about anything and you want me to make a video about something, put it in the comments section. Having said that, my friends, I love you all. I thank you so much. I look forward to hearing your experiences and learning from your experiences. Please be very good to yourselves. Until I see you again next time.